The Patriots just moments ago wrapped up joint practices day 2 in Minneapolis, and we go to the Volkswagen Dealers Expert Hotline out to Minnesota to the aforementioned Evan Lazar. Evan, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great, Matt. How are you?
Good. How'd the offensive line look today compared to yesterday?
Yeah, today was a little bit of humble pie, I think, for the Patriots, Matt. It wasn't that it was anything close to like that Eagles practice that we felt last year, but I do think that today Minnesota had the better of practice, probably on both sides of the ball, honestly. And offensive line, couple of losses for Will Campbell against Jonathan Bernard. The practice did end well, though, for the Patriots offense, and those hurry-up one-minute drills. Drake May threw a sideline go ball to Kayshon Boutte about 40 yards out that ended his one-minute drill with a touchdown, and then Joshua Dobbs led a touchdown drive as well. So a good ending to the practice, but I thought for the bulk of practice, the Vikings defense really controlled the day.
Okay, Evan. So, Drake May, tell me how to feel here, because in the joint practices, it's been pretty, for the most part, celebrated. We've enjoyed some of the touchdowns, and he's throwing balls all over the yard, and it's looked good. In the non-joint practices, the in-stadium scrimmage for season ticket holders and the preseason game, although it was very limited, he hasn't looked quite as good, quite as smooth or dynamic. Which one do I believe? Are you concerned with what you've seen out of Drake May or encouraged with what you've seen?
I'm overall encouraged by what I've seen, and I thought over the last couple of days what I really liked about Drake May here in Minnesota is that he saw a really exotic defense from Brian Flores, and he seemed like he was able to see the field pretty well and decipher what Flores was throwing at him from a schematic perspective. So that's a good sign. And I would also say, today Pop Douglas had a few drops on throws that were right on him by Drake May that maybe would have left us all feeling a little bit more positive about how the Patriots offense looked if those passes had been completed. So I wouldn't look at today's practice, some of the unevenness as anything to do with Drake May. I thought that when they protected and guys got open down the field, he was putting the ball on them. Today, they had a little bit of issues with those first two things.
Evan, am I to take from that comment that the offensive line was the biggest issue for the Patriots today?
I would say over the course of the 2 days, the offensive line has had its hands full with the Vikings. Now, they have a good front. You have Dallas Turner on one side. You have Jonathan Grenard on the other side. You have Brian Flores scheming it up. So it's a good pass rush, and it's a good pressure package that they were going against. Yesterday, I was really optimistic about what I saw because they were able to make big plays when they did get it blocked up. I know everybody probably heard about some of them, like the Tayvon Henderson catch at the end of practice, where they were exchanging some haymakers with the Vikings. Today, I thought the coverage down the field for Minnesota was a little bit tighter. The Patriots weren't creating as much separation.
What did you see from Will Campbell the last 2 days?
Some good and some bad from him as well, I would say. Campbell today gave up some pressures to Grenard, who had a really nice day out here. But I thought in one-on-ones he held his own against him, and he did a little bit better in some of the stunt stuff that they were doing in those drills, the two-on-twos, interior stunts and tackle and twists and things like that that were better, I would say, from Will Campbell today. Now, Ben Brown was at left guard instead of Jared Wilson. I don't know exactly what that is right now. I think there might be some sort of injury with Jared Wilson because he didn't participate in the practice at all, so maybe that's all it is. But it was a new left guard for Will Campbell, so that should be noted as well.
All right, Evan, fill in the blank for me, and please elaborate if you're able to. Tayvon Henderson will be the best Patriots rookie since who?
Oh, man, yeah, that's what I've really been thinking about. Honestly, is I've been covering the team now as my 8th training camp, and I just can't think of a time that I am more optimistic about a rookie coming in as a skill player that I am about right now with Tayvon Henderson. I really think that he's a special talent, and their whole thing now is just usage and figuring out how to use him properly from an X's and O's standpoint, and also how to really, keep him fresh and keep him healthy and don't overuse him as well. To answer your question directly, I don't even know. I don't have a great answer to that right now because it's been that long since I really felt that this skill player is this dynamic for them. Like, you might need to go all the way back to, like, the Gronk draft, right? Like, it might be that far back since they've drafted somebody like this. And that's praise for Tayvon Henderson, honestly. Like, that's just how good he's been through these last couple of days and last couple of weeks, really.
Okay. Obviously, the hype train is building up steam. It'd be interesting to see, especially with what Drake May is going to be looking to do this year. A guy you can check it down to. Obviously, if he can come up big, that would be enormous for the young quarterback. Let me just throw one more thing at you, Evan. Sort of a different type of question. But if I told you right now that in 2025, the offense of the Patriots was actually going to be better than the defense of the Patriots, would that excite you or would that make you nervous?
That would excite me because I think this whole thing with Mike Vrabel, as much as we talk a lot about culture and identity with Mike Vrabel, it's number 10, right? It's Drake May. If he has the offense pointed in the right direction and he's pointed in the right direction, I think they can figure out a lot of the other stuff. You see teams do that all the time. When the quarterback is playing well, you feel good about the entire thing. So if the offense is better than the defense, if you want to put it that way, like I feel like overall that's a good takeaway about Drake May, and that's really the most important thing for this team right now.
What did you see with Vrabel's involvement? We're talking with Evan Lazar from Patriots.com on the Volkswagen Dealers Expert Hotline. What did you see with Vrabel's involvement over these 2 days of joint practices? I know yesterday he spent almost the entire day with the offense. Was that the same today? And what have you taken away from where he's devoting his time in these practices?
Yeah, it's interesting. He was with the offense again for the entire day today, and that's definitely been notable to me. And I think that goes back to what we were just talking about with the franchise being Drake May, that his focus right now is pushing Drake May. And that is not just about his play and his execution play to play, but also the leadership stuff and some of the intangible things that we've captured on Forge and Foxborough and things like that, that you see on all the behind the scenes stuff. So he's been with the offense basically the entire camp. Now, maybe some of that is also his trust in Terrell Williams and the defensive staff, guys that have been with him and been in this system for a long period of time. He has mentioned that he wants to learn more about the Josh McDaniels offense. So a big part of it for him is also just seeing the Josh McDaniels offense in action so that he can coach it better. But I also think that it's also a lot about Drake May and wanting to have his hands all over Drake May's development.
Evan, I know you need to run, but if I could, just one more before you go. How would you summarize these last 2 days of joint practices on the whole in Minnesota, and what should we expect, if anything, from the game this weekend in regards to starters playing?
Yeah, yesterday I came out of this practice with a great feeling. I thought that they actually kind of won the day on day one, and I think Minnesota punched back pretty good here today. So maybe that's a hard way to put it. I don't know exactly who won the 2 days total. Like, I think it was kind of a split even matchup. And sometimes you see that when there's multiple days of joint practice where one team kind of takes it to the other on day one, and then the other team kind of wakes up and responds and has a better practice. So I'd say they kind of drew here in Minnesota. They won the first day and probably lost the second day. And I guess if you're the Patriots, you'll take that as a build. We're building towards something here, and hopefully it would go from there. So on Saturday, though, I do kind of expect to maybe see a little bit of the starters to start the game, similarly to what we saw in week one of the preseason, just because of how things went here today. I think there's some stuff that they need to work on both sides of the ball. So I wouldn't be surprised if you see some starters on Saturday.
Evan, thanks a lot for the update. We appreciate it. We know you need to run. There are a million things that happen on these joint practice days. We really appreciate the update.
Thanks, Evan.
Anytime. Thanks for having me, guys.
All right, sounds good. That's Evan Lazar joining us on the Volkswagen Dealers Expert Hotline. So not a good day for the Patriots. If you read some of the tweets coming out of Minneapolis today, decisive win for Minneapolis, for Minnesota on day 2 of joint practices after I think a lot of people felt the Patriots won yesterday.